Yeah, so in the previous video we saw that in the meal type or a unit or cuisine, any of these schemas, we can enter any data that we want, and Sanity Studio is not going to stop us from entering any of the data, be it any of the schema. The reason is that we have not added any validations for in our schemas. So in this video we'll see how we can add validations at the field level as well as in the document level. So we'll start with unit. As in unit we have two fields. We'll see how we can give some validation. So let's create a new document, and over here we are just adding some numbers, and you can see there is no error. So how we will put the validation, we'll quickly go to the documentation and we'll see what all options are available. So before that we have to see what kind of field do we have, what type of field. So if I go to the schema of unit, so over here we have two fields and the type is string. So now in Sanity there are a number of validation methods that is provided by Sanity that we can use right away, or if those are not sufficient, then we can write our own custom validation method. We'll see both of those in this video. So now to check what all validation methods we have available, what we'll do is we'll go to the Sanity documentation. So this is the Sanity Studio's homepage, Sanity homepage. We'll go to the resources in reference. So in reference we'll go to the in reference we'll go to in the reference docs there is schema types. So in the schema types it will list us all the schema types that are available. We'll see most of them in the upcoming videos in the series, but first we'll see the schema that we are using in unit. We are using a string. String is a schema type. Now if we scroll down, we can see the list of properties that we can use for type string. Similarly the options, this also we'll see later how we can use the options. Now over here is the validation. So these are the methods that are directly available for us to use, like the required, min, max, length, upper, lower. We can even give a regular expression, and if we have our own, if some validation you want to write on your own, you can write using custom. So how we can write is over here you can see this is the field. This is the field. So inside the field we can give another property as validation, and in the validation we'll give how we have to validate. So we'll go back to our schema, and this is the unit schema. So we'll type validations. Now the thing is, if you have written validations, field validations for maybe Mongoose or some other using some other library, so in general what happens is we normally get value here, and then we write our own some kind of validation. Whatever we want we can write here, and it should return true or it should return false or some message. If it is true, then it is like there's no error, and if there is any message that we are returning, so it is considered as invalid field. The validation fails over there. But in Sanity it's not like that. What we get here is a rule object. It's not the value that this field holds. This is an object named as rule. So whenever we are writing validations, we have to write like this, because this is what we are getting when we are this is actually a function that we are writing here. So the parameter that we get is rule. Now this rule has all the methods that we just saw. If it is string, so it will have all the methods that we just saw for string, like these are methods. If it is some other schema type, it will have those validation methods. So first thing is we'll write this, we'll use required, because we want our name to be filled. So what we'll do is we'll go back, and so if we just click outside, you can see it is giving us a validation message required, and this is called field level validation because it is giving this error message for this specific field. Now if you want to
give a custom message. So what we have to do is we have to write error. Now we are writing error over here because there are we can give an error message, and we can even give a warning message, warning. So if we are giving an error message, it will not let the user submit the form because it's there is a proper error. So you can maybe give some custom message like this field is required. Okay, now if I go back and if we see now, it says this field is required. So this is how we can give a custom message, and you can see we can't publish it because it's an error. But in the same way, if I type it as warning, so I'm not changing the message, I'm just keep it as it is. So you can see it will let us allow, and over here it is not stopping us. It says this is whatever message we give, it will come here. But yeah, the notification is different, and it is not stopping us. We can actually publish. Fine. So this is for the required we just saw. Now if there are multiple validations we want to put, we can change them. Like if it is required, then you want the length of the string to be of some specific size, so maybe minimum 3 characters or 2 characters, or we will go with max because minimum can be 1 as well. So we'll go with max maybe 5. So if I say max 5, okay, so this is fine, we can actually do this. Now if I go there and over here we'll change this back to error. Okay, now if I go here and the max is 5, so yeah, you can see that once we started typing, so earlier it was an exception because it was saying the field is required. Now once we type something, so that error is gone. But because we have a validation of max 5 characters, so we'll add so as soon as I add the 6th character, I got an error, but again the message is same, this field is required. So over here you can see this is a problem, because when we are chaining multiple validations, we don't have the option to give separate messages for each validations. So in this case what we can do is we can return an array. So over here yeah, sorry, yeah, so over here if we can give multiple, we have converted validation was earlier just a function, now we are returning an array. Okay, and for each validation it will be a separate item inside the array. So let's say the first validation is for required and you want to give a custom error message, so this is fine. Now for the second validation you want to give some validation max 5 chars allowed. Now if we go back, so we can see, yeah, over here it says max 5 characters allowed, and if there is nothing that we are giving, it says this field is required. So this is how we can give multiple error messages for different validations. So so this is fine for now. What we can do is maybe let's try a regular expression. One more we can do over here. We can check for uppercase, lowercase, and if you want to be of a specific length, fixed length, and we can use regular expression. So let's try putting one regular expression, like we don't want any spaces in between the characters, like over here if I say milligram, if I type mg, it is allowing me, which I don't want. So we can put one more validation here, and that validation will be regex. Okay, and over here we can give the regular expression in order to catch the spaces. So we'll just put, okay, so and over here we will give spaces not allowed. Fine, so we'll go back and yeah, let's try that's fine. G is fine, and space G, it says space is not allowed. So this is how we can use the regular expressions. Now one more thing I want to say is that over here we were passing for each item it was a function. So one more way of doing is that instead of repeating this part, what we can do is we can just remove all of that, and instead we can just say instead we can put it outside. So even this is fine, this will work. So if we go back and I'll just check, so we have space is not allowed, and this is field is required, and max 5 characters. So I think this validation for this field is fine. We'll quickly write validation for the description. So in the description, what I am thinking is we'll see that I will write a custom validation, and in this I don't want anyone to just copy paste the exact unit name as description. I want them to actually write the description of the unit. It should not be like if I put kilogram kg here, then maybe they will come and they'll put kg again, so there is no point of having this field. So we can put some validation that the same name should not be put in the description. Now so again we'll start with validations. Now the thing is Sanity does not provide anything like this, any such thing to compare two fields. Any such method is not available, so we will have to write our own custom method for this. So how what we can do is we can type maybe rule dot custom. So this is how we will be writing a custom function. Before that, we'll make sure that it is a required field. So as I said earlier, we can chain multiple validations together. So over here what exactly we want is that we want the current field value and we want this field value, that is the name field value, and then we will compare, and we'll see if both are same. If both are same, then definitely it's an error. We will not let it will throw an error in that case. So whenever we use custom method, so we get two parameters, one is name and the other one is context. So now the name is our current field name, not name, the value, and context is it's like we can refer the document inside the context, and we can go to any field that we want which is inside this document. So let's say that we want to compare the name and the description. So how we will do it is name equals context dot document. So in this the document, we are referring to the current document. Now this is the description. The name of this field is this field is the field object. The name of this field is description. So the value will be in name, and the document we are referring to is the whole document. So now if we want to compare the value of description with name, we'll say context.document.name, because name is the name of this field. So we are comparing the name which holds the value of description with the value of a name, a field which is in this document. So over here we can just compare, and we can if it is true, like if it is like both are same, in that case we have to return an error message. Actually, if there is if the validation is successful, means there is no exception, so we have to return true, and if the validation fails, we have to return a string with the error message, and that will be displayed on top of the field in Sanity Studio. So over here we can simply say the name and description cannot be same, and if both are not same, both are different, so we'll just say true. So now if we go back to Sanity Studio, and over here you can see, because it is empty, it is required. Now if I put some value, it is fine, it's not giving any error. If I type kilogram, it says its name and description cannot be same. So our validation, custom validation is working. So because we want it to be kilogram, so this is fine. Now now because there are two fields involved, so I think this is a good use case for writing document level validation. Over here, if we write a validation within the field, it is field level validation, and if we write the validation at the document level, we can write a validation at the document level as well over here. So if we write a validation, this is a good use case for writing validation at the document level, because we have to access two fields from the same document. So I'll just okay, once again, yeah, so it is again it is very similar to what we have already learned. So I'll just disable, I'll just comment this one, the field level validation, I'll just comment it out. And in the document level, we will have to write a custom validation. Now over here, the parameters are different that are passed to the custom function. Inside the field, it was name and the context, but over here we'll have fields. Now this fields is basically all the fields in the current document. So this is pretty straightforward, where we will say we will be comparing fields dot name, which is name means this name, is equal to fields dot description. So over here we are comparing if both are same, so which it should not be. If it is same, so we have to return this message, and otherwise if both are different, so we can return true. Okay, so this is the field level document level validation. So if we go back here and if I type AZ, so you can see an error message has come here, and if I click on it, it's saying the name and description cannot be same, because this is a document level validation. And you can see even this publish button has been disabled. But if I write kilogram, so no message, no error message, and this is also fine. So this is, I think, fine for now in the unit. For the units, we will quickly write a similar validation. I mean, maybe we can put the same validation that we have for the name of the unit to cuisine, and I'll just paste the same, but spaces can be allowed, so we'll not put this. And the max, maybe we can, the name of the cuisine, maybe we can maybe put 20 characters, and this field is required. So this looks fine for cuisines field level validation. Similarly for meal type, I think again we can have same validations. So yeah, so this looks fine. I'll just quickly go and check. So if I put here, and if we type something, so we are in 20 characters allowed, and over here this field is required, so this is fine. Similarly for meal type, we can see 20 characters. Now this you can try on your own how we can put a validation that such that it should not take numbers or special characters. Maybe you can try it as an assignment and see how you can achieve it. Now in the next video, we'll continue writing the schemas. We'll move towards ingredients, as we have already completed the first three schemas. We'll see how we can write the ingredient schema in the next video.